You ever fall into a vat of quicksand and then wonder what would happen? Because I haven't. That has never happened to me. Not once. And what's that got to do with this video? Absolutely nothing, but this is the Mississippi King welcoming y'all back to more Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and this is the place where we first met Ruto. What you're supposed to do, and what I should have done, is like, after you raise the water level to the second level, you want to come back here, and then grab the key from that chest. And now that we have that key, we can actually get past that locked door that I ended the last episode on. Because, you know, I didn't really want to show the whole trip of getting all the way back there, because, like, y'all have seen it, y'all recognize it, it's the same, like, y'all can definitely tell which place is which, because it's not like this whole thing, like, looks entirely the same. It's not like this temple is just so... It's not like the entire temple looks so identical to each of the rooms look identical to one another. Jeez, can't seem to speak properly today, but nevertheless, I'm telling y'all, having to do this whole noise all over again is a bit of a problem. But nevertheless, this is how you do it, folks. Except not quite like I'm doing it, because I'm messing this up. Seriously, this is not funny. Actually, yes it is. It's supposed to be funny. Maybe I should edit this trip out, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised I've only screwed up really for one locked door so far. Not a lost door. I mean, each of the doors is lost, or at least they make you feel lost, because this temple's just so friggin' confusing. Like, I had to go over an actual guide just to get this episode recorded, so... Because, you know, it's been a while since I've played this game from start to finish, so... Yeah, I'm kinda rusty, but I wanted to make sure to just, like, go over what I already knew, because I don't want this video to be a colossal disaster. That is definitely not the goal. But it shouldn't be the goal. You just gotta keep on going, folks. I don't know what else to tell y'all. Just keep on going. So welcome back to the disappearing platforms of mild annoyance. Yes, they're much better than the disappearing blocks of doom, which are pretty annoying, and they'll kill you. These things won't. They're not a serious threat, and they move so slowly that it's not really ever an issue. See, I'm already at the top. That was pretty easy, folks. And if I'm not mistaken, I won't need any more... What was it? Any more keys. Well, to get the item, that is. I mean, that's not the last key we will be using, folks. Trust me. I mean, this dungeon has a lot of them. But this room is actually kind of interesting. You actually use the switch in the middle to raise and lower the heads of the things. I think it also raises the water level, which there's not really much point to that. I mean, you do need it to, like, get back to the thing. Like, I don't see why it needs to raise the water level as well as the heads. That seems kind of pointless. And it seems this part keeps attacking me on this level, and this one's going down. I'm turned to the dark side. Or rather, I'm gonna commit homicide. No, not homicide. These things ain't human. It's some kind of side. The dark side. That's it. I'm gonna turn to the dark side to fight them off. Which is weird because I'm kind of the chosen hero, but I don't know, that's just a weird thing. And here we're introduced to a like. These things are horrible. Well, okay, to be clear, they're not... Well, I mean, there are worse things. They're still pretty annoying. But basically, the like, once it eats you, it steals your shield and your tunic. If you're not fast enough, you won't be able to get them back. You just have to buy them from the shop, and that's no good. Although, to be clear, in the original Zelda, like the first one, they were 10 times more annoying! Because once they ate you, then they did not return your shield, like, at all. You had no chance of getting it back. You just had to fork over the 250 rupees just to get the thing back! That is not... That's terrible design! And that may not sound like much, like, especially compared to this game, where there are, like, 20 rupees, there are, like, red rupees, there are, like, orange rupees that give you, like, tons. You have, like, so many, but in the first Zelda, there were only regular rupees, which were 1, and blue rupees that were 5. So you had to go through a lot of grinding just to get that friggin' shield back. I swear, they were just the most annoying things ever. But this here, and probably should have started talking about this sooner, but this is actually the fight with Dark Link. He's actually, or Shadow Link, I'm not quite sure which, but he is admittedly one of the harder boss fights in the game, or I guess mini boss fights. It's not really a boss fight, but nevertheless, he is harder than a lot of boss fights regular. Like, seriously, like, he keeps mimicking you, and, like, you sort of have to feel through his defenses and just sort of attack all out, which can be risky. You can keep spamming Din's fire, but that only lasts for so much. I mean, this would be easier if I actually had to, if I actually had the extended magic meter. Yeah, spoilers, but nevertheless, I should be able to beat him. He's not... like, there are harder boss fights in the series, but yeah, this Link is pretty tricky. And I get that there are probably ways to, like, you know, get him into a pattern and to sort of fake him, like, to sort of break through his patterns, but I don't know, half the time it just seems like he's just sort of unpredictable, and he just sort of goes all out, and, you know, it's hard to sort of tell what he's going to do, so he's not a cakewalk, boy, I tell you. I mean, I don't know, my health is looking pretty bad. My health is running pretty low, but, I mean, I'm gonna try to get him. He'll also, like, jump onto your sword, so you may, like, want to watch out for, like, stabbing. That may not be the best idea. You'll keep doing it. But, yeah, it's really difficult to, like, see through him. Like, something about this pattern just... it's really hard to read. That can be pretty difficult about him. I'm almost about to die. This is not looking so good. I'm still confident I can beat him. I just need to play it real safe. And not get hit a lot. Which, you know, this is starting to look pretty dire. Oh dear, this is not so good. I wonder if Deku Nuts will work. I'm gonna try that. Maybe some Deku Nuts is just the antidote for him. Oh boy, I'm down to a quarter heart! If I can beat him, it'd be pretty awesome, like if I managed to... Okay, that didn't work. First death in the entire game! Wow. I'm actually kind of amazed it took this long for me to die. Game isn't exactly easy, but it's also not hard. Guess I'll meet you back there. And we're back there. And you see, when you die, you actually go back to having 3 hearts, and you need to refill it. How many hearts you start off with after you die, that actually varies a great deal from Zelda games, but often it's 3. Although, yeah, as I've said, there are some variants. There's some variants, like A Link to the Past, that's sort of proportional to the amount of heart containers you have to your max life. I also went back to restock, so now I have a couple green potions and some other stuff, so I am well prepared for this fight now. He is going down. Or maybe I am. But yeah, part of what I think... Part of the reason that I think the dungeon's non-linear design fits the feeling that Link as a character and you as the player feel lost is partly... Like, this boss fight, I think, fits with it. It fits that theme. That, like, since you just don't really know why you're doing it, or rather, you're kind of lost in your goal. You're not sure what you can do, and so you're constantly questioning yourself. I think it fits the theme. It's fitting then that you fight it Dark Link or Shadow Link, because it's more of an internal battle to discover yourself, I guess, for lack of a better term. For as cheesy as that sounds, I can't really think of any other way to describe it, though. Huzzah! We beat Dark Link, or Shadow Link, still not quite sure. I think it's Dark Link, but I'm not totally sure about that, but yeah, I actually had to do like a take or two, I actually died to him off screen, and so I just decided, screw it, I'm heading back and restocking. And so I did that, and it turns out I didn't even need any of that, so it was completely pointless. Well, maybe the magic, but nevertheless, I get all that stuff. I don't even end up using it. That's fantastic, ain't it? But this room is kind of interesting. It's actually shaped like a snake, and so you can sort of like put on the iron boots to sink to the bottom, which is not advisable like I'm doing. The reason you don't want to do it is because, well, you can end up falling into one of them vortexes. I don't know. Something like that, but my spell check seems to think that vortices is not correct, or it does. Really, I don't understand it. It's weird, like, no one can seem to agree on the proper plural. But nevertheless, this room, it can be kinda tricky. You don't want to fall into one of them vortexes. I'll just call them vortexes, okay? Don't go coming after me. This place is kind of, it's one of the more interesting rooms in the dungeon, I must say. But the item you get from the dungeon is the Longshot. It's an upgraded version of the hookshot, and it, well, as the name implies, it has a much longer reach, and that is definitely gonna come in handy. Like, it's also why I wanted to get it out of the way. Well, the water temple, that's what I mean to say. It's why I wanted to get the water temple out of the way first. That, and it's just kind of an annoying dungeon, and I just want to be done with this crap as soon as possible. There's no use in postponing it any more than I need to. I'm kind of conflicted on my thoughts on the Longshot. This is what I meant when I was talking about how I had mixed feelings on the dungeon item in the last video. It's like, I get that that it has like this sense of how you're growing stronger, and that is really neat, but at the same time I'm just kind of, I've got mixed feelings as to how it's handled in this game, because it's like, I suppose, like, I'm not sure whether I would do it differently or leave it the same. It's weird like that, because most other Zelda games you just get the hookshot and it has, like, the longest range. It has, like, it already has its longest reach. So, yeah, I kind of feel mixed about that. Like, I feel conflicted. Yeah, it's nice that there's this personal growth aspect to it, but maybe it could have been done in a different way, like... And I realize the internet may crucify me for saying this, but... Well, I actually kind of think Skyward Sword handles it in an interesting way, like the way the whole sense of getting stronger, because, like, you actually have some upgrades that you can, like, you actually upgrade a lot of your equipment at shops, and that's, I guess, kind of how I feel Ocarina of Time should have handled it, but, I mean, I guess since this was the first 3D Zelda game, I guess they didn't really think of that. But nevertheless, I do think it would have worked better for this game. Maybe. Oh, also, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone! I mean, this video is presumably going up on St. Patrick's Day, so I may as well throw that in there. Which is also why I'm wearing a blue tunic instead of a green tunic. Fantastic timing for this episode, ain't it? Well, I mean, I guess the magic is green, and I have 2 green potions. And also, Aurora's Wind is green. So, yeah. Guess that's about it. This dungeon is kind of confusing. But in a sense, that kind of works for the story's benefit. Because, like, you feel lost in the dungeon because you are lost, in a sense. You're not sure about your next move, and it's sort of where you kind of have to do some internal reflection, and so the dungeon itself kind of requires you to make some internal reflections as to what to do next. And it's kind of fitting, so it's more of an internal battle, whereas like the Shadow Temple is more of the... Well, it's more of an external battle. You're fighting hordes of monsters. You're not fighting yourself because you've resolved what you need to do. And you've finished your internal reflections. And so that's one of the things that that I should kind of talk about, is that, like, a lot of people use nonlinearity they talk about linearity as like it's a bad word, like, I don't know. And, well, the thing is, like, it's really just a descriptive word. It's not inherently bad or wrong. It suits different games in different ways. Like, it really depends on what you're going for. In the case of the water temple, it makes you reflect on what you're doing. It causes you to think internally. And so that's kind of interesting, but it can also be used to... Well, to be clear, I'm not saying that the series is better off linear, like, no. In general, the Zelda games tend to work better as non-linear games. They work best when they're not really linear, and that is indeed one of the issues I have with Skyward Sword, is that it is kinda linear, and it's not even done for, like, reasons that... Like, it's not even... It feels like it's just linear for the sake of it. Like, there are some things where it's like, it wouldn't even have benefited the story if it were Like, it doesn't even benefit the story. Like, that's one of the arguments in favor of linearity. And perhaps I think this is kind of unfair because, like, there are ways to craft an interesting non-linear story. But, one of the issues people tend to bring up is that, well, linearity makes the story more interesting, and in the case of Skyward Sword, it's like, no, it does not make it more interesting, not necessarily. There were places where it would have done better without being linear. Sure, there are instances in which linearity does benefit the series or the story. But, like, Skyward Sword has several instances where it's like, you gotta collect these 3 things! And then it's like, why aren't you allowed to get them in any order you want? It's like, it's completely pointless to just railroad you along a set path. And that seemed to be completely pointless because I ain't got a silver key. But I figured I'd head here because there's actually a Gold Skulltula up at the top. Now, it was always there, but we couldn't exactly get it because we only had the hook shot. You need the Longshot for that. And also, you can check the map anytime you want to see the, anytime you want to see whether or not you've cleared any region or dungeon of Gold Skulltulas, and, well, the map actually says that we have cleared this place of Gold Skulltula, so that's nice. And that's one of the things that is kind of good, that this hunt can be pretty annoying, and I don't really like the reward you get for it, but nevertheless, it is still nice that they let you know which regions have been cleared of Gold Skulltulas. That's really good. And so that's the thing, is that this place is is that, like, the hunt is not particularly pleasant, but at least they do let you know which areas have been cleared, which is certainly better than some other game I know. Twilight Princess. Oh, sorry. Must have been kind of sick there. I don't know what came over me. Did I say something like that? Well, okay, never mind. Yeah, that is pretty annoying about Twilight Princess. There's a similar hunt in that game with a similarly awful reward. And you can't even see which regions are cleared. And that's one of the things that I think A Link Between Worlds does better than either Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. Like the Maya hunt is what the Gold Skulltula hunt or the Poe hunt in Twilight Princess could have been. Like, the rewards are worth it, and you can see which regions of the map are cleared. And I'm back with a key. So now that we have a key, we can get another trash, and I wonder what's inside. It's the boss key, like you probably already know that, but nevertheless, it is good to get this. Because, you know, that's kind of what we need. Because the boss is coming up relatively soon. And, well, having that boss key is gonna help because we needed to beat the boss. Kind of obvious, but nevertheless, that definitely helps a lot. And as I was saying about the hunt for Maya-Mize, that will help a lot. Well, no, I mean, no it won't. The hunt for Maya-Mize is what the Gold Skulltula hunt should have been, because you're rewarded throughout the hunt. You can check which regions of the map are cleared, and how many are left. And it's also so much better, like the rewards are all worth it. And like, there are a lot of them, but believe me, it is worth it collecting them. And they're not hidden in obtuse places. So that is definitely a plus. But I think that's about it for this video. I mean, I'm just gonna get up to the second level where we were, and well, I think that's it. This is the Mississippi King signing out, and in the next episode, we're gonna explore the water temple some more. Actually, we're gonna tackle the boss and defeat the boss. Finally finishing this water temple. See y'all next time.